the community research element of Use It was originally a methodology. It's kind of like training some community researchers as experts in their neighbourhoods to go out and to find us the people who've got the skills to connect to the hospital and to the NHS and the Midland Metropolitan Hospital. It was a methodology to kind of get underneath to disadvantaged communities, to connect those social entrepreneurs. But actually, what happened in reality was that took us a bit of time to get the community researchers on board. But once we got them on board and we found enormous capacity, an appetite and expertise, from a range of people right across the community, that we thought, well, actually, we've got a social enterprise here, or we've got a community interest company here. We've got something that can be the legacy of Use It from the community research aspect. And we had, the Initiative for Social Entrepreneurs, ISE, on board. So it seemed natural that there's a social enterprise. Now, that can't come from a university, and it can't come from a kind of a third-party body. It's about coming from the ground up, the community researchers themselves. But I think we share the same vision. So we had an exercise on what's the vision for this social enterprise, who are the clients, what's the market, and there's a real appetite there for the community researchers to continue what we're doing, to be peer-to-peer community researchers themselves, and to identify funding, clients and a revenue stream that will keep that going, and the relationship between the universities and the University of Birmingham and other stakeholders in the voluntary sector in the region, and to create a real visible platform for kind of strategic investments in the city region. So we go immediately to the community research social enterprise when there's a strategic investment. So the Commonwealth Games, okay, let's go to the community research social enterprise and ask them, how do we design the interventions and the outputs and the inputs for the Commonwealth Games that benefits local communities? So that's the benefit of a community research social enterprise, and that was unlocked by the process of Use It.
As community researchers, we can be the bridge, because we know the community, we can go into the community and deep dive into the community and then feed it back to the councillors that are providing the services. So it's money better spent if it's used, with the knowledge that it's being used well.
So the community researchers had been operating as a team for probably about 18 months, 2 years. And we feel that across the team, we've developed a lot of expertise and a local voice and local connections that are really important. And we didn't want to lose that when the project comes to an end. So discussions started about 6 months ago, looking at, well, what structure would we need to enable us to continue independently as an organisation? And we've been supported by the university to do that. We've had various individuals come in to talk to us about the different models that exist. So we're looking at social enterprise or a CIC. And it feels now as though we are at a stage where there is a very clear proposal going forward that will enable us to continue what we think is the very valuable work that we've been doing, and hopefully broaden that out and be commissioned by more organisations, so that we can really encourage organisations, particularly statutory bodies, to really think about how they can get the voice of local people. Yeah, I've been involved in a project that was commissioned by the Canal and River Trust, and they were really interested in two things. First of all, they wanted to understand the reasons why people do and don't use the canal, and what would encourage people to access it more. And then secondly, they were looking for organisations, local organisations, who would be willing to adopt a stretch of the canal and then take responsibility for maintaining that stretch. So that could be anything from litter picking to a bit of weeding, planting, undertaking surveys on behalf of the Canal and River Trust. And that's been a really successful project. So we attended 4 different events in the area, talking to people, getting their perceptions of the canal, finding out how often they used it, what would encourage them to use the canal more, what they liked about the canal, what they disliked about it, and just their thoughts on what would make a difference in terms of encouraging them to view it more positively and actually use it more. And we identified 5 potential organisations who are very interested in going forward and potentially taking responsibility for a stretch of the canal. So I feel that we delivered exactly what the Canal and River Trust had commissioned us to do.